Hi again then guys, and so we've got another drag spec build for you today, and this is actually two setups in one, depending on how you plan to use the car. And the car in question is the widely loved light car company Rocket. So you want your racing soft tyres, of course. For the braking bias, I've increased the rear to 6 just to bring it to more of a controlled stop and to stop it from lunging as much under braking. You don't have to do that though. For the suspension, the ride height at the front we've got on 100, 80 on the rear, and the reason for that is because you want the front raised to improve top end acceleration, but I haven't got the rear as low as possible because I want it to be quick off the line as well, and you don't want the car to bottom out on the floor. For the springs we've got 4 on the front, 330 on the rear, again to take up that drive off the line. For dampers on compression we've got 3 on the front, 1 on the back for the same reason, and 4 on both for extension. Anti-roll we've got as high as possible to keep the car straight and true, and the camber and tone neutral to get as much tyre contact to the road as we can. For the gearbox you want an auto setting of 180, then for the individual gears we've got 3.3, 2, 1425, 1075 and 850, and for our final drive we've got 3.6. For the diff we've got the highest initial torque, highest acceleration and lowest braking, all the power upgrades obviously, and I will as usual be using NOS on this run. And this is where it changes. If you're looking to have this car as a top end drag car, say for like 3, 4, 5,000 meters, then leave the ballast on 0. However, if you want this car to be quick off the line, and as primarily say a quarter-mile drag car, or say 800 meters to 1,000 at the most, then give it a 125 kilo ballast, put all the way to the rear of the car to give you extra grip over those rear wheels, in a very similar way actually to my Caterham setup. So traction control you want turned off most certainly, and as with most of my drag tunes I will be using an auto box, so if you do choose to use a manual you can obviously be quicker. And to give you guys some idea of how fast this car can be in a drag, we're putting up against a very popular drag car which I've put some of my other tunes up against in the past. It's the Supra, but this is slightly different this time because obviously this car doesn't have the advantage of all-wheel drive. So let's see how quick it is off the line. So obviously this is with ballast, so this is primarily the quarter-mile tune, and the difference that the ballast makes is insane on this car. However, the Rocket is of course known for being a very good top-end car for its power, well over 250, but as I said, this is 2 tunes in one, so if you do need top-end performance, because as you can see this is a quarter-mile tune, but I'm still well ahead of the Supra at around the 3,000 meter mark. I'm still in the lead, but this is actually slower top-end than if you don't have the ballast. So like I said, you need to decide what you need the car for. So if you want it for top end, then don't have any ballast, because it does make a big difference. But if you need it to be as quick as possible off the line, as this one just was, and particularly over the quarter mile, then add that 125 kilo ballast. If you give it any more than that, you start drastically losing top end acceleration. If you give it less, you lose 0 to 60 time. So 125 is pretty much perfect for this particular car. Now, as always, there are far too many specs to read out, and I've actually split it up, the specs for this car, into the 2 different with or without ballast. So check in the description to see the difference it makes. But for some highlights, this will get from 0 to 60 in an insane 1.6 seconds. It hits 100 in 3.4, does the quarter mile in 8.3 seconds. And if you use the more long distance tune without the ballast, this car will do up to, well over 6,000 meters in under a minute. So it's a seriously quick little car. And it cruises at around the 250, high 240, low 250 region. Tops out at about 295, 300-ish. So if you found this tune setup helpful, and it's certainly competitive, feel free to slap on that subscribe button if you find tunes like this helpful and you want to get them as soon as they come out. And as always, thanks for watching.